Richard Wells, 7th Baron Wells, was an English nobleman and soldier. From a Lancastrian family, he came to be on good terms with the Yorkist King Edward IV, but was later executed after being associated with a plot against Edward known as the Wells Uprising family. Richard Wells was the only son of Lionel de Wells, 6th Baron Wells, and his first wife, Joan Waterton. He had 4 sisters of the whole blood: Cecily Wells, who married Sir Robert Willoughby of Parham, Suffolk, and was the mother of Christopher Willoughby, 10th Baron Willoughby de Eresby; Margaret Wells, who first married Sir Thomas Dimmock, and then Robert Radcliffe, Esquire; Eleanor Wells, who married Thomas Baron Huon Hastings; Catherine Wells, who first married Sir Thomas de Lalande, and then Robert Tempest, Esquire. Career. He married, by the 9th of January 1449, Joan Willoughby, in her own right Lady Willoughby, the only daughter and heiress of Robert Willoughby, 6th Baron Willoughby de Eresby. He was knighted shortly before the 31st of January 1453, on which date he had sight of his wife's lands, and was on various commissions in Lincolnshire in that year. On or before the 15th of March 1454 he was a Privy Councillor. He was summoned to Parliament from the 26th of May 1455 to the 10th of August 1469 by writs directed Ricardo Wells de Willoughby, thus becoming Lord Willoughby, according to Hicks, having the expectation of the Wells and Waterton inheritances. He was destined to be the principal magnate in the Lincolnshire area. In his early years he was a supporter of the House of Lancaster, and for service against the Yorkists in Lincolnshire in 1459 was granted £40 yearly from forfeited lands on the 21st of March 1460. He was in Queen Margaret's army when it advanced on London and won the Second Battle of St Albans on the 17th of February 1461, and fought at Towton on the 29th of March 1461. After Towton it was wrongly reported that he had been slain. His father, slain at Towton, was attainted on the 21st of December 1461 by the victorious Yorkists, whereby all his honours were forfeited, and as a result he did not immediately succeed his father in the barony of Wells. However, on the 5th of February 1462 he was able to obtain a pardon from Edward IV. He had family connections to the Nevilles through both his first and second wives, and having changed sides in the conflict, assisted the Nevilles in the destruction of the Lancastrian forces in the north of England in 1464. He was with Edward IV at Dover, on the 21st of August 1463, and was among the Yorkist leaders under the command of John Neville, 1st Marquess of Montague, who defeated the Lancastrians at the Battle of Hexham on the 15th of May 1464. He was amply rewarded by Edward IV, being granted his father's forfeited goods on the 9th of October 1464. On the 11th of July 1465 he had sight of his father's forfeited estates. In June 1467 he was fully restored in blood by an Act of Parliament which reversed his father's attainder, by which he acquired the additional title of Lord Wells. In 1468, by order of the King, he was confirmed in his rights against competing claims to his father's lands by his stepmother, Margaret Beaufort, Duchess of Somerset, and his half-brother, John Wells. Although he had recovered his inheritance, Lord Wells had not achieved dominance in Lincolnshire, where he shared power with Humphrey Boucher, 1st Baron Cromwell, a kinsman of Edward IV, and with Sir Thomas Burrough, Edward IV's a master of horse. In February 1470 his only son Sir Robert Wells attacked Burr's house, Gainsborough Eld Hall. This incident is thought by some historians to have been a plot by the Earl of Warwick to provoke a reaction from the king. However, other historians consider it merely a private war. the king summoned Lord Wells and his brother-in-law, Sir Thomas Dimmock, to London to account for their actions. At first Wells pleaded illness. He afterwards came to London, but took sanctuary at Westminster Abbey, from which he was lured by the promise of a pardon, which was granted on the 3rd of March 1470. By this time Lord Wells' son, Sir Robert, had openly declared for Warwick and George, Duke of Clarence, and after pardoning Lord Wells and Dimmock, the king kept them under restraint while he marched north to personally suppress the Lincolnshire rebellion. Sir Robert Wells refused to lay down his arms, whereupon the king had Lord Wells and Dimmock executed at Queen's Cross in Stamford on the 12th of March 1470. Sir Robert gave battle at Losecoat Field, but was defeated, and executed at Doncaster on the 19th of March. Both were attainted, and since Sir Robert had died without issue, the king bestowed the Wells and Willoughby lands on one of his loyal supporters, Sir Richard Hastings, who had married Lord Wells's daughter, Joan, save for lands around Lilford Hall which were acquired by William Brown in 1473. The attainders of Lord Wells and Sir Robert Wells were both later reversed in the first Parliament of Henry VII. Marriages and issue. Wells married firstly, by the 9th of January 1449, Joan Willoughby, in her own right Lady Willoughby, the only daughter and heiress of Robert Willoughby, 6th Baron Willoughby de Eresby, by his first wife, Elizabeth Montague, daughter of John Montague, 3rd Earl of Salisbury, by whom he had a son and daughter, Robert Wells, 8th Baron Willoughby de Eresby, who married Elizabeth Boucher, the daughter of John Boucher, 1st Baron Berners, and Marjorie Berners, daughter and heiress of Richard Berners, Esquire. She survived him by only a few months, and was buried by his side in the Church of the White Friars in Doncaster. She left a will dated the 2nd of October 1470. Joan Wells, 9th Baroness Willoughby de Eresby, who married Sir Richard Hastings, the second son of Leonard Hastings and Alice Camoys, daughter of Thomas de Camoys, 1st Baron Camoys, by his first wife, Elizabeth Lucius, the daughter and heiress of William Lucius. He was the brother of William Hastings, 1st Baron Hastings, and Sir Ralph Hastings. They had a son, Anthony Hastings, who predeceased his father. Wells' first wife was living the 11th of May 1461, but died shortly before the 13th of February 1462. He married secondly Marjorie Strangways, widow of the Neville retainer, John Ingleby, and daughter of Sir James Strangways of Harles in Osmotherley, Yorkshire, by his first wife, Elizabeth Darcy, daughter and heiress of Philip Darcy, 6th Baron Darcy. They had no issue. On the 8th of May 1474 she was said to have been about to take the veil.